Hi, I'm Maria Walther,
I'm Jessica Walsh.
and we're two traveling teachers who, like many of us, are not traveling right now. So we're exploring the world through books. I was looking back at our last two posts, and Jess, we did friendship, and then we did inspiration. So this time we're doing hope. You can kind of see a theme running through that. So Jess is going to kick us off with some
Yes.
hopeful books.
So a colleague, oh, here's Charlie.
Oh, hey, Charlie.
A colleague of mine shared this book with me, and I've been sharing it with everyone I can. So this is a young adult nonfiction called "Making Our Way Home: The Great Migration and the Black American Dream" by Blair Imani, and it's an incredible book that goes through the history of the Great Migration from the South into places around the country, like here in Chicago. And what's unique about this book and this migration story is it's a more of a focus on Black excellence and the innovation and perseverance of folks throughout history. You can see, and the illustrations are gorgeous, full color. There's a Tuskegee Airman. Um, the
Wow.
women who joined the workforces during World War II. So it's just a beautiful historical look at Black history, American history, and I've been sharing it with my eighth graders and with anyone who will listen. So that's "Making Our Way Home: The Great Migration and the Black American Dream" by
And is
Blair
it short
Imani.
stories or one?
No, it's one continuous, it's chronological. So it
Okay.
goes through, yep, so it goes through chronologically. There's some great timelines in the back. And it's just you could pull excerpts out. Like I would totally use this in my US history class, just pull out excerpts when we get to that time period in history. So
Oh, that's a beautiful book.
yeah, it is.
All right, we're going to pair that with Wherever I Go by Mary Wagley Copp, illustrated by Manur Muhammad. And this is, I'm going to read the first page to introduce you to the character because we're talking about resilience and hope. And it starts like this. I am Queen Abia of the Shemelba camp. Of all my friends, I have been here the longest, 7 years, 4 months, and 16 days. That's what Papa says. Too long, he adds. I think it's the perfect amount of time to become a queen. And then you follow her through the camp as she plays with her friends, collects water, whatever she's doing, she is the queen. At the end of the book, she is resettled and still continues to be a queen. It's just such a beautiful, hopeful book of resilience, set in a camp. And some in the back matter, it gives you a little bit of information and also a whole text set about refugees and resettlement. One of the books that is mentioned in the back is The Journey, which is
Mm-hmm.
another beautiful book.
Yes.
One that is not mentioned in the back that I would add is Lubna and Pebble. So just a beautiful, hopeful book about the refugees and resettlement.
Wow, thank you. I'm adding that to my list. And I still haven't read
It's
Lubna and Pebble yet either. Um, okay, so another nonfiction. Actually, all of mine are nonfiction today. I think you can find a lot of that in hope and resilience in nonfiction. I think that inspires me more is when I know the story is true, the person lived. And so this was an unknown history to me, the history of the Paralympics.
hmm,
So this is a sporting chance: how Ludwig Gutmann created the Paralympic Games by Laurie Alexander. And so the first of all, the photographs drew me in. I'm a sucker for a good primary source photograph. Um, but this is also kind of a history book. So it's not just about the Paralympics, it's also about kind of how one man has almost found himself in all of these pivotal moments in history, global history. So he's from Germany, was exiled for being Jewish, and has traveled around the world, lived in Europe, and just kind of perfected his craft of medicine. um, and through different wars encountered injured soldiers who were kind of written off because they were paralyzed, and he wasn't having it. He just like, well, there has to be a way, to solve this problem. And through application, through study, he figured out how to prolong their lives, and not only that, but how to give them hope. And it was through game and through sport. And then it just evolved into the Paralympics. And it's just an incredible, I mean, what an incredible life that this man had. And then at the end, you can see there's little featured athletes. They're one page featurettes of folks across different sports, and their stories. So super inspirational. Again, another one that you could read excerpts of depending on what you're talking about. And so just a great one to have in the library or share, study in a book club, read aloud. But How Ludwig Goodman Created the Paralympic Games, a Sporting Chance by Laurie Alexander.
Wow. All right, we're going to pair that with I Will Dance by Nancy Bow Flood, which is just, I have to say, I cried at the end of this book. That's how hopeful
I
and
haven't read
beautiful
it
it
yet,
is.
but I cried at the drop of a hat. So
I know. So it is about a little girl who was born premature, and she is in a wheelchair. And I'm going to again read just a little part. So she wants to dance. That's what she wants to do. Mom says, imagine you are dancing. I don't want to imagine. I want to dance. The teacher says, pretend you are dancing. I don't want to pretend. I want to move. I want to feel the music, sway, swing, fly, over and under, together and not alone. And I love the way the words are organized in a way that they dance across the page. So then her moms find a dance studio, which in the back you read about is a true story, a true studio that exists. And they take her to that studio, and this is when she enters for the first time. Roll out down the hall and then through an open door. I see the beautiful wooden floor, shiny smooth like a pond, waiting for dancers, all dancers, with canes and crutches, walkers and wheels, barefoot slippers or calluses, dancers, not imagine, not pretend. And so she gets to dance at the end. They have a performance. And as I said, in the back matter, you learn about Young Dance, which is the studio where this story is based in. So it's just such a beautiful book of hope and resilience, and a little girl who got her dream and was able to dance.
I love the title. How affirming. Okay, so my last book today is, like I said, another nonfiction book. This is Abby Wambach's Wolfpack, which is the young readers version of the adult book that she wrote, based on the the graduation talk she gave at Barnard College, which went viral. And so this is her speaking to young people about taking control of their life, about being who they are just in the world, being proud of whoever they are. And so I actually listened to this. I listened to the audiobook, and Abby narrated it. And I'm in my car and I'm just feeling like I could do anything. Like
Mm.
I could take on anything, just the way she speaks, and she's saying you in the writing. And it was just, I just found it so powerful. And so the idea of the wolf pack, like the wolf needs the pack and the pack needs the wolf. And so it's not only about a single person taking control of their life, but how you need other people in your life to be great and to feel powerful. And so it also made me want to, it's also a little bit about equal pay, and how she took her time in soccer, and beyond, when she retired, to fight for equal pay for women in sports, and beyond. And so it also made me want to turn on a women's soccer game and support women's soccer, just to show that there are people who are supportive of all sports. So it was just so inspiring. It's very short, just based off of her speech, but I think it would be an incredible read aloud. And in fact, I'm going to read it again, the print version. I stopped at Anderson's immediately after I finished the audiobook to get a copy for the classroom library. So that is Wolfpack by Abby Wambach.
And we're going to pair that with Together We Grow, which, like Wolfpack, is about a group who, this book actually starts on the front end papers. So you have a Fox and his family who are in a, wherever they live, den, and it's storming. It's storming, and all the farm animals are going into the barn. So they have shelter, and the fox does not. And so it is the smallest animal that reaches out. And I just love the illustrations. They actually absolutely
Oh.
glow. You can see the little duckling leaves the shelter and goes out to greet the family. And then when the other animals see that, they all invite the family into the barn. And, Together We Grow is just that idea of the smallest like the smallest person or animal in this case can really make a difference, and we do all need each other. It actually reminded me a little bit of The Smallest Girl in the Smallest Grade by
Oh,
Justin Roberts and Christian Robinson. And I was in a first grade small group this week talking about this book, and I asked the kids, I said, hey kids, like, why do you think he named that The Smallest Girl in the Smallest Grade? Why not the, biggest person in the biggest grade? And one of the kids said, well, because that would just be boring. And that was really after we dug into that first grade thinking, that was really their way of saying that, it's more impactful when that smallest person has a big impact. And, right now it's our kids that, you spend your days with that are going to have the impact and give us hope in the world.
Mm.
So those are our hopeful and resilient books. We're two traveling teachers, and we'll see you next time.